Well, I just wanted to make a short video on. Uh, I sometimes like to go deep into the definition of words in the English language, like, for example, looking up the definition of driver for having a driver's license, per se. Like the learning how deep the definition of words go can be very interesting when it comes to learning about governmental terminology and things regarding around licensed documentation. And this time I looked up marriage license. When was the marriage license invented? And it says that one of the first marriage licenses recorded in the United States was in the 17th century, around 1639, in colonial Massachusetts. And here it says in 1100, in the Common Era, marriage license was introduced by the church in England, of a huge proponent of organizing the information obtained by the issuance of the marriage license. So the reason that England started the marriage license was to organize information obtained by the marriage. Okay. So this having by people not just saying you're married and I do and I do and that was it. They had a marriage license so they could document and organize the information around the marriage that happened. And if we look up why were marriage license invented, we can look. Let's see. What is the history? The historical background of a marriage traces back to ancient times, primarily for alliances and property exchange. Over 4,300 years ago, and evolved through culture and religious practices, shaping societal norms and personal relationships globally. Okay, so it was primarily for alliances and property exchange. It was not originally for sexual bonding. That's what I think the majority of the people see the terminology of marriage today as is it's a male and a female having a sexual bonding relationship with each other, and they get married, bringing their both of their families together as one new family, kind of a thing. And that's how the traditional marriage is seen today. But in ancient times, and what it was originally invented for, or done for, was for alliances and property exchange. So it's and as we see when we look back on this definition, where in England, the reason that England started a marriage license was so they can start documenting the information that was obtained from the marriage. So it's so two people get married to form an alliance and to share ownership of both of their property with one another. So those are the reasons behind marriage. It's like when I'm not, because I'm not married, I have my stuff and nobody else owns it. I own all of my stuff that I have in my possession. That's my property. I own it. But if I were to marry somebody, then whoever that person I married would have half ownership of everything that I own on paper. So this has to do with an alliance with somebody, and joint ownership of property, and also documentation of the information about that, about the marriage, and about the property that they both jointly now own together. That also is documented as well. So that is the main reasons behind marriage. At least from what I can tell, just by looking up the definition of these words, that marriage has to do with a joint alliance relationship and a sharing of property with one another, ownership of property with one another. And not only is that done verbally, like I do and I do, when they're standing up on the podium or whatever, uh, that it's just also done on paper as well. That was what England did. England wanted to have all this put down on documentation. That's why these people in England, where the central bank idea originally came from, is all about paper pushing. These people from England are professional financial paper pushers, and that's what they do. They use verbal ways of manipulation and paper pushing manipulation to control the world, either it be with currency, either it be with, licenses, deeds, ownership titles, whatever. It's all paper pushing, and that's where these documentation of joint ownership ideas came from. Something about having ownership on paper is more powerful than just stating verbally that you own something for some reason. And marriage licenses and the idea of marriage is where that joint ownership idea came from. So I just wanted to make a video just going over this history that I just learned about marriage, because yeah, when you start getting curious what the real definitions are about words, you tend to find a good paper trail to a definition that you may not have expected. So it's good to look up the definition of words and the definitions of the definitions of words. The words that are in the definitions of words you also look up as well, because you'll find details that can be pretty surprising. Okay, thank you for watching and have a good day.